Hello everybody, we're gonna get started on Farm Store. I've got my photograph right here, and on the back you can see that I did the transfer. I stretched out the photograph for a good reference, and I looked for another dog. I've already wet the paper. I've also put the frisket down in multiple areas to create the snow. Let me tell you what's on my palette. I'm using, this is a 14 Winsor Newton Scepter Gold brush. And I have Crimson Lake with ultramarine blue. This is a little yellow ochre, which is an opaque with some vermilion, just to turn it orange a little bit. This is a straight yellow ochre. So now that the paper is damp, I'm going to just start putting down color where I see it. And I'm not worried about where it goes. By the way, Farm Store, I did not wet that area. So here we go. I'm going to let all this color just run around on the paper, going from light to dark. Here's my yellow ochre. And it really does pale out over the doors. Keep in mind that everything is in the shade. So I am tinting the paper. Think of it that way. I'm even putting it in here where we have the sky. So already my paper is pretty wrinkly. It's popping up. Once I've done this, I'm going to discover that I really do have a nice surface to paint on. Keep in mind also that the paint will dry 20% lighter than what you see. Okay, so that's the yellow ochre. I'm going to go ahead and put in the crimson. No, you know what? I'm gonna go get this orange. And I do need to mix it again. Okay, I want to use a lot of water with this, just to get it in there. Let it run around a little. It'll do the work for me. Once again, just tinting the paper. And now I'm working around the doors. can smell the wet paper. You know, this is just a great way to get started. It will take quite a bit of time for it to dry. I'm going to go ahead and start on some of the greenery back here. And now let's just go ahead and start with some of the straight up crimson lake. Let it too run around. Now you can start to see where the snowflakes are. And the shadow on the decking. So I really am concentrating now on the building and the siding. A little texture. Pick up. You're going to be surprised how light this dries. I'm going to lift up right here and here. Let's add the blue. A nice straight line right across there. It's making a bit of a purple. Oh, I can really smell that paper. Mm. So I'm starting to see the shadows on the porch. Nice and soft. I want to wait for some of this to dry. So I made a mistake, and that corner will come out. And you can see how nicely that lifts, just with the brush. So, there we go. Let's go ahead and put in some of the green using a smaller brush. We're gonna mix the Viridian in with the Crimson Lake. And it does create a nice black. And I think this tree would be quite dark. Oh, I like how that's working. I like that a lot. Okay, and I also want to put some of it in here, in larger areas at this point. Okay, so I don't want that too soon. It just doesn't want to hold. And I am pretty wet, so I don't want this dark. It's too soon. So I'm thinking that is this wow, I love that little tree. It reminds me of like a Charlie Brown tree. I think this is really where I need to stop because it's so wet, and if I keep going, I'll lose some of these beautiful soft, oh, that looks like pine. So I'm gonna stop. Just and I'll come back. Okay, let's stop right here. We'll let this dry. You can see it's very wet. So we're gonna let that dry. And come back to it.